Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Sequel with Brother Baron. I'm your host, Brother Baron. We're going to do the Exam 2 practice test together step by step. Please remember to pause your video frequently and to attempt the steps before I do them with you. Let's get into it. So, I'd like to see the total number of rentals. That's a count because we're counting. If we go to the rental table, where's rental? We see that, cool. Very cool, MySQL. So cool. Love you, MySQL. Get me out of here. Okay, and one more time. Mm-hmm. Okay, and in the rental table, for reals this time, we see that every record represents an individual rental. So to count the number of records, or excuse me, to count the number of rentals would require counting the number of records. A record is a rental in this case. So I'd like to see the number of rentals. So I'm going to do that. Select count, count star by day, rental date, by day and by month. Rental date from rental where, and it says only rentals during the month of May. Month of rental date is equal to 5, and there's another criteria here, and only for customers whose rental count of movies was more than 1/50th of all possible movies. So we need a second where here. Only for customers, meaning this is not a post, this isn't a having, we don't need to aggregate and then filter. We don't need to filter the result of this query. And by the way, let's add our group by here. I'm going to add this down here. What we need to do is, well, let's just run it without. Let's just run this part, okay? Okay, if I run this, so it's saying these are true. This information, there's 137 records or rentals on the 25th day of May, 27th day of May. However, we're saying, but we only want a specific type of customer being applied here. So kind of before the aggregating, which is why we need it in the where. So let's keep going. Only for customers whose rental count of movies was more than 1/50th of all possible movies. So first off, let's find this part, 1/50th of all possible movies. If I select the count from film, this would give me the count of all possible movies, the number of all possible movies. In this case, there's 1,000 movies right now, okay? So we need to make sure that only customers whose rental count. So I need another table for now. We're going to put it in the subquery, but I'm going to do it separately for now. We need to know what the count of movies was by customer from rental group by customer ID. So this shows me the number of customers. And then in this query, I want to add, yeah, let's do that. Again, I'm just thinking out loud. What if we added a column that showed this? So I'm going to get rid of this right now. And then we're just going to run the subquery right here. So I want to see a new column. I think I can run it like that. I want to see a new column in this query that shows me the total rentals. Hates that. Hates everything about that. However, I think parentheses should fix this. Okay, so then what I could do is I could say, I'm going to keep this column because I like that column as totes movie count. And then I actually just want to use this again because I'm going to say, give me the count divided by this guy. And then I'm going to parenthesis it again so I can name it as percent of tote. So then, now let's run this and see what we got. Aha! So now we do have the percentage of total. Let's go back. It says 1/50th, which is 2%. So this column needs to be greater than 2%. So then I'm going to having percent of tote greater than 0.02%, which is 1/50th, right? Yeah, math checks out, I think, there. So let's do this. Now I'm getting 543, so we did reduce this. And then, my friends, I'm going to do this. Aha. Now I have a list of customers who meet that demand. CT would be ideal here, but I'm not going to use it. And customer ID in ba-da-ba-ba. Here we are. We got a list of customers who meet that criteria. Okay. Thank you, Mickey D's. Alrighty, let's keep going. Question 2. I want to know the average rental duration from the film table grouped by the following categories. Okay. Average duration grouped by some kind of case situation. G-rated movies, PG-rated movies with the duration less than the average of all G. So that's a subquery because we don't know. We won't know what the duration of all PG, G, and PG movies unless we pull that ourselves and create a new quote-unquote table. In this case, it would be one number. So, when rating in G, P, PG, and, because both conditions must be true, and duration is less than the average of the duration from film where rating in G, PG, then group 1. Okay, sure. Group 1. Okay, let's make sure that makes sense. And duration is less than the outcome of this thing, which looks like it needs to be like that. Case when rating is in G and PG, correct, and the duration is less than select average duration from film where rating is in G and PG. Okay, let's make sure my parentheses are correct. Oh, my bad. So we don't need that. There we go. Okay, so when the rating is in G and PG and the duration is less than the average duration for all G and PG films, then they're group 1. Okay, that makes sense. And then the group 2 is just the opposite of this. Greater than or equal to group 2. And then when rating in PG-13 R, then group 3. When rating in NC-17, then group 4. Else Sag. Okay. So far we're doing good. We've got our custom buckets. We have a nice little subquery embedded in our case statement. Let's keep going. Exclude films. So we need to filter these out. That sounds like a where. Exclude films from consideration that begin and end with the same letter. From film where title we need to exclude let's come back to that one. Let's think about that. Are shorter in text than the shortest text of each of the ratings averaged together. Holy cow. let's do this one right now. Where the length of title is less than, exclude, is greater than, and then we need to select. Wee. That's funny. Of each of the ratings. So, like, let's create our own. Let's leave that there and just try this. So, if we said select min length of title by rating from film group by rating, what would this give us? It would give us the shortest title by rating. So then we would just need to add those up. So I wonder if you could, no, you can't. Select the sum of the length, I guess. Length from here. And Matt would give, average together. We need to average those together. So it's 8 because obviously they were all 8. So then this, my friends, would go there. And greater than, I'm just going to, for readability, I'm going to do this. Oops, not that. I'm going to do this. Where the length of title is greater than this thing, no alias needed there. Oh, no, there is an alias needed there because that's a from. This part does not, but this guy does, which means I need another parenthesis to close this guy. There we go. So that should be indented. There, indented. Okay, try it one more time. There we go. So, where the length of the title is greater than the average of each of the ratings' minimum length, which apparently each rating has a minimum length title. Shorter in text length than the shortest text of each of the ratings. Yeah, so that part's done. We did it. 5, 4, 6, 10. We would average those numbers. So I think we're done there. So we just have to do this part. Exclude films that begin and end with the same letter. Okay, I'm going to show you a kind of a different approach here. So let's create a new table where I can at least see star from film. And then I'm going to add a field here on this table where I'm like left of film, or its title, is equal to the right of title, then flag it. Else, no flag. Okay? If I ran that, if I ran this, let's look at this. We have a flag here. So then I could say, give me customer ID, or not customer ID. What are we flagging? Exclude films. Film ID having film having flagger equal to flag. Some really elegant stuff being written here. Select film ID, comma. So that would be, and yeah. And I don't think, let's just verify this for flagger. Flag, you can't wear the case because the case hasn't happened yet. That's right. So that's why we keep having it. Okay, so we've now got this, and now we have a list of film IDs that have this thing. So then I just need to go like this and just get film ID by itself. And then now I have a unique list of film IDs that are violating the prime directive. So then if I say where length is greater than something and film ID not in, and we pass in the list we just created. So lastly, I think we did it. So now we're making sure the title is greater than the average length of all the minimum lengths of films averaged together. And we're also excluding titles that begin and end with the last name, or begin and end with the same letter. So if I run this, unknown column duration, what is in film? Rental duration. No. I don't want rental duration. In the film table, am I taking crazy pills? I thought it gave us a runtime length. That's what it is. My bad. So it's not length. It's length here, here. I think that's it. Unknown column duration. Oh, my bad. Here. Select the average of length, comma. Where am I saying duration still? Duration. There we go. You're like, Brother Baron, we saw that forever ago. Oh, and by the way, the one thing we haven't done yet, select and film ID not in. Let's indent that so it's clear. And then we just need a group by because remember we selected the average length and then we did a case. So we need a group by buckets still. And that, my friends, is the answer. So now we have completed our query. Kind of a baller query, not gonna lie. Well done. All right, let's do the third one. How many unique customers from the payment table fit into the following buckets? All right, let's look at this. If we go to the payment table, does it have a rental ID? It does, which refers to a type of video, like Rental 76 video, a type of movie. So there's going to be a case here, so let's just start there. And the case is when rental ID less than or equal to 1,000, then 1 to 1,000. And then it's 1,001 to 2,000. Or then it's 2,000 plus. Okay, so we have that, and then it says how many unique customers. So one way, we're going to solve this two ways. One is using a subquery, then we'll use distinct count. So one is, if I run this, it shows me which bucket, we should probably run this with a table, which bucket each of these are falling into. And so, so if I said select distinct buckets, so I want customer ID buckets, okay? And then now they're distinctified, so I could go like this and say select this count, and then how many exactly, and then how many fall into each buckets. There we go. Oops. So that shows me the unique count of customers in each bucket. However, the easier play, I think Carson showed this in class, much better play here, is we just say select count distinct like that, group by buckets, and I think that gives you the same result. It does. So much more elegant, a more elegant solution for a more civilized age. But that would be the solution for the last one. If you didn't know about count distinct, which we haven't talked a lot about, it's kind of like this maverick thing. then you could still do it like this. You would just get it every unique iteration by doing this, distinct customer ID and bucket, and then you just count it and group it in those buckets. So either way will work. Either way would be full credit, but those are your two options. Thank you. Bye.